Hey everybody, today I'm revisiting my top games of 2018. Now I have done a list like this before, about a year ago, but obviously since then I've had quite a big chance to catch up on all the games I didn't play, and my list has changed quite significantly. So I'm going to go through 20 games and let's get started. So at number 20 I have The Mind. Now The Mind was a big hit for me in 2018, I had a lot of fun playing with it. It's a kind of a cooperative game where you are basically playing cards in a chronological order, but you're not allowed to communicate with your teammates, and you just kind of got to go on the whim and hope you get through it without making any mistakes. Really good fun, and I do still really enjoy it, but there's not a lot of depth in that to it, so that's why it's at number 20. At number 19, I have Carpe Diem. Now, Carpe Diem is a lovely tile placement game. I did really enjoy it. For a Stefan Feld game, I didn't think it quite had the legs that I wanted it to, but again, I did enjoy my few plays of it. It has a cool few mechanisms in it, like so not only the tile placement, but you've got like this initiative track as well. You can get nice little combos and stuff, and the scoring mechanism is fantastic. At number 18, I have The Big Score. Now this was at last year's number 6, or the first time I did this list, it was number 6, so it's quite a big drop. It's a push your luck style game based on a bank heist where you are spending the first half of the game drafting cards and trying to basically blind bid on these different locations and hoping other people fill in the gaps that you can't. And the second half is just a pure push your luck game. Really nice one there. At number 17, I have Senshi. This is a very small, quick little abstract game that is quite different to anything else. You're trying to build these little pillars of tiles, but the person with the smallest pillar gets automatically knocked out, and then it will go to the player with the highest pillar. Really nice one, and it's really quick. At number 16, I had last year's number 9 with That's Pretty Clever. Now this is the second Wolfgang Warsch game, the first one being The Mind. Now this one is a roll and write game where you're trying to pick these different dice and combo them to get loads of points. There are loads of different strategies you can go down. Very addictive and very good fun, and I do rate this one highly. At number 15, I have Cryptid. Cryptid is a really cool deduction style game where you have this map of like hexagonal tiles or a grid, and there's loads of different terrains, and everybody's going to get an individual or unique rule, and then you've got to work out everybody else's rule to deduce what space the monster is hiding on. Very clever, extremely streamlined, and a lot of fun. At number 14, I have Crown of Emara. This is a light, medium weight rondel Euro game where you're collecting resources on one rondel and spending them on another rondel in order to get points. And you have two different kind of criteria you're scoring for, housing points and people points. But your score is going to be the lowest of the two at the end of the game. Has a really nice flow to it, it's super quick, but maybe a little bit too light for me in order to get to the upper end of the list. At number 13, I have last year's number 2, so quite a big fall for Gugong. Gugong really did blow me away last year, or in 2018. I really enjoyed it when it came out, but since then I have soured on it quite a bit. I still really do like it, and I think it's a great game. It's a worker placement style game where you're using cards to activate different locations. It's just nice and smooth and a solid game. That's Gugong. At number 12, I have Just One. This is probably one of the most played party games I have. It's another cooperative one where everybody is working together to try and help the person in the hot seat get a certain clue, but they can only give one clue answer to that person, and any duplicated clues are taken out of the equation. Really good fun one. At number 11, I have the Quacks of Quedlinburg. Now this is another push your luck game by Wolfgang Warsch, believe it or not, so it's the third game of his on the list. And this one you are basically pulling chits out of a bag, trying not to explode your potion, and then spending your points to buy new chits to put into your bag, and they all have different cool combos and different powers, and you try to get the most points. It's a really fun game, and I do recommend this one a lot. At number 10, I have Architects of the West Kingdom. Now this is a gateway kind of weighted worker placement game where you are placing these workers onto the board, but the more you place onto the board, the more cumulative rewards you get. So if you have a bunch of workers in a certain location, you can get a whole load of rewards, but then other players can arrest you and send you to prison and get money for you. It's just a nice, solid, smooth game, and it takes less than an hour to play, which is really nice, and it looks really cool too. That's Architects of the West Kingdom. At number 9, I have Push. Push is probably the purest pushy luck game I've played, and it's probably my favourite one. It's a really nice one where you are basically playing these different columns of cards, trying not to go bust. If you do go bust, you have to roll the dice, and you could potentially lose all cards of a certain colour. You could force other players to do the same. It's just a really solid filler game, and I love it. At number 8, I have last year's number 7, so a very slight fall for Decrypto. Decrypto is, I guess it's a kind of a party plus style game where you have a team versus team. You're trying to help your team members work out a certain order of the clues you're giving and trying to crack the code of the other team's clues they're giving. Very clever, and I love it. At number 7, I have last year's number 4 with the Chronicles of Crime. This is a game that could easily shoot up again. I just haven't played it as much as I'd like. It's a very app-integrated game where you are scanning QR codes on different cards to work out murder mysteries and solve crimes. Genius, and I love it. That is the Chronicles of Crime. At number 6, I have Raccoon Tycoon. Now this won my award for Surprise of the Year. It's a kind of an economic style game where you are, increasing the value of different commodities and then selling them for profits and buying, buying investments and stuff like that. It's very cool, but family weighted, and it just has a lot of depth to it in such a streamlined set of rules, and it's just such a huge hit for me and my gaming group. At number 5, I have Blue Lagoon. This is an area control style game, very abstract by Rainer Knizia. You are basically playing tokens onto the board, trying to complete or trying to do the best in loads of different kind of scoring methods, such as area control or being on the most different islands or collecting certain resources or stuff like that. So it's got loads going on, very cutthroat, but I did absolutely love this one. At number 4, I have last year's number 1, or the first list number 1 with Rising Sun. This is Eric Lang's huge feudal Japan area control game, miniatures galore. Still probably the best produced game I've ever seen. Absolutely stunning. Just fell a bit for me because my tastes have changed slightly, but still love this game. At number 3 was last year's number 3 with Teotihuacan. This is Daniele Tascini's rondelle game where you are moving dice around a rondelle, leveling them up, making them ascend and getting bonuses. You're trying to pool your dice in certain locations to get bigger bonuses, to build this huge pyramid in the center of the table. It's absolutely fantastic. I love this game, and I can never ever see me getting bored of it. That is Teotihuacan. At number 2, I have Newton. Now Newton is another Euro-style game from the Italian designers. This one is very streamlined. You have a kind of a degree of deck building into it as well, where you are collecting cards or playing cards, building a really solid engine in order to travel around the map and collect knowledge, fill up your bookshelves full of books and get accumulative points and stuff like that. It's a really nice game, and I did absolutely love it, and just can't wait to play more of it. And finally, at number 1, I have Coimbra. Coimbra is another game by the Italian designers. This one is a dice drafting game where you are not only picking the dice on the pip value, but also the color of the dice value as well, and buying cards with them, trying to climb different tracks. Absolutely genius mechanisms, and just absolutely love it. The degree of engine building is extremely satisfying, and yeah, this one I'd never turn a game down of. So that's my new top 20 for 2018. I hope you've enjoyed it. Quite a big change from the first time I did this list, but obviously as time goes by, you do, everything kind of falls into place, and I'm a lot more satisfied with this list now. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Please hit like and subscribe if you have. For everyone else, I'll see you next time on Chairman of the Board. Bye.